Good morning, all of you. So, in the previous class, we discussed some problems based on the force between magnetic force between two current carrying conductors, right? And so now in that topic, that one more law is there, that is Ampere's law. Now let us see this Ampere's law. We discussed till now we discussed about applications of the Biot-Savart's law, right? And so now the another law is there in the topic, that is nothing but Ampere's law. And so here Ampere's law means I can say that it is like Biot-Savart's law is that plays a role played by the Coulomb's law in electrostatics, and this now Ampere's law will plays a role similar to that of Gauss law in Coulomb's, Gauss law in electrostatics there, right? So that means we know Gauss law can be derived from Coulomb's law and Coulomb's law can be derived from the Gauss law. Similarly, here this Biot-Savart's law can be derived from Ampere's law and Ampere's law can be derived from this Biot-Savart's law, right? So those are different ways of expressing about the field there. And so then with the help of this we can find the magnetic field due to that different current distributions we can find there. And so now let us see this statement of this Ampere's law. So this Ampere's law states that the line integral of B bar dot dl bar is equal to mu naught times the net current enclosed by this, or current inside this Ampere loop. You know, this is I in I am writing here that I in is nothing but current inside or current enclosed by this Ampere loop. Like in Gauss law, we know in order to apply the Gauss law, we generally assume a Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface we assume around the given charge distribution, and then we start applying this Gauss law for that Gaussian surface there, right? Integral of E bar dot ds bar. Now similarly here for the Ampere's law, if you want to apply, we should assume a closed loop around that given distribution of current. And so that loop is nothing but now here we call Amperean loop, Amperean loop. So that means the path around which we are going to integrate. In case of Gauss law, what we are expressing here is integral of E bar dot ds bar is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times this charge enclosed or Qn. So here for this integral of E bar dot ds bar means there is certain name for this, like what we called flux, electric flux. So then electric flux passing through the given closed surface is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed by that. But here there is no any particular name for this B bar dot dl bar here, integral of B bar dot dl bar. Just we say it is a line integral of B bar dot B bar and dl bar there, or B bar dot dl bar, right? So that means there is no any special name like electric flux there, because magnetic flux is there, but its definition is different, like B bar dot ds bar we will get. So there is no any particular name for this B bar dot dl bar. So just we call it as a line integral of B bar dot dl bar. And so now here in this, so first write the statement here. Just we write in terms of this only. Ampere's law, the line integral of just write, you need to write like B bar dot dl bar. B bar dot dl bar is equals to the line integral of B bar dot dl bar is equals to mu naught times current enclosed by the net current enclosed by the Amperean loop. Net current enclosed by the Amperean loop. So then write this mathematical form there. Integral of B bar dot dl bar is equal to mu naught into I in. And so here what we can mention here is next after this, just let us take an example. I will give an example for this. So here I am taking some distribution here. So this is say I1, I2, I3, and here this is I4 is there on this outside. So that means this is the loop, the closed path. What I am showing there is nothing but we call the Amperean loop. That means it is just an imaginary path. This is not the current carrying conductor, that you should observe here. These dots and into mark I am showing there, that the meaning of the dot and into mark, you know. Into mark means current carrying conductor is perpendicular to the plane and it is carrying current into the plane. This dot is out of the plane here. That is the meaning of that into and dot. So current carrying conductors are there like perpendicular to this plane. So this closed path, what I am showing here, that loop is that is a path along which we are applying this Ampere's law. So this is nothing but we called Amperean loop. So Amperean loop is nothing but the path along which we are applying that Ampere's law. That path is nothing but our Amperean loop here. And so now while applying here, I said that net current enclosed here, or I can write this as net current here, or I in net current enclosed within this Amperean loop. So here net current means, like you know, in Gauss law, when positive and negative charges are there, we consider that net charge there, algebraic sum of all the charges present inside that. So similarly here also we need to calculate like this. So that means now which current, now the question is which current we need to take it as positive and which current we need to take it as negative. Because in case of this charges, we can charges along with the sign will be given there. So you can easily identify which is positive charge and which is negative charge. But here how to identify that means that positive or negative current directions will depend on our direction of integration. So that means if you want I1, you can take it as I1 as positive by assuming the integration direction in a particular way, and I2 can also be taken as positive if you are changing that integration of direction of integration. So that depending on the direction of integration, this currents, which current we need to take positive and which current we need to take negative will depend, right? And so like simply the integration, or if the direction of integration indicates by the four fingers of the right hand, listen this carefully. If the direction of integration is indicated by the four fingers of the curl of the four fingers of the right hand, then thumb indicates the direction of the positive current. That means the current which is in the direction of the thumb, we need to take that as positive, which is opposite to that, we need to take it as negative, right? And so now here, for example, here I am taking that the integration direction, for example, if I am taking like this, that means integration is carried out in clockwise direction. That is your choice. This whether we are taking this integration as positive clockwise sense or anti-clockwise sense is purely your choice. You can assume that in positive like clockwise direction, or you can assume it in anti-clockwise direction. That is purely your choice. And according to that your choice, that means your direction of integration, now you need to take that which is positive current or which is negative current you need to take. And so now here, suppose if I am taking this as a positive direction here, that means the integration direction, then according to that thumb is inverse. That means all the currents which are directed into the plane are taken as positive, and all the currents which are out of the plane are taken as negative direction there, right? And so just mention about that. Here I net means, first here after this let us mention this. I net means the net current enclosed by the Amperean loop. Net current enclosed by the Amperean loop. In this we should not include the currents. In this we should not include the currents outside the Amperean loop. Outside the Amperean loop. That means now we should not discuss about this I4 here in this example, because I4 is outside that Amperean loop. So next mention that and next about mention about the DL bar also. DL bar also, the meaning of the DL bar is also important here, because the meaning of the DL bar in Biot-Savart's law is different and here it is different there. In Biot-Savart's law, DL bar means we mentioned that as a current element, I into DL bar means. So that means there the length of the small current carrying element, right, in Biot-Savart's law. But here the DL bar means length of the just path. If you are taking this small element here, then you can take this as a DL here. That means this is the DL bar. That means that is the length of the path along which we are integrating here. The DL bar means. So just mention that here DL is length of the path, length of the small element of the path, along which we are integrating. And then next, the B bar in the above equation. That means the B bar means we are discussing the different terms in that Ampere's law statement. The B bar indicates the resultant magnetic field due to all the currents, that means either current carrying conductors may be there within the loop or outside the loop. This description, that means this what we are mentioning, these points, the description is similar to that of our Gauss law. In Gauss law also there E means it is a net electric field due to all the charges, they may be inside or outside. So now similarly here B means that is a magnetic field, net magnetic field due to all the currents inside or outside that Amperian loop, right? Now next mention about the sign convention here. While applying Ampere's law, integration can be carried out either in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise direction, which is our choice. If curl of four fingers of right hand, indicates the direction of current, integration indicates the direction of integration. Curl of four fingers of the right hand indicates the direction of integration. Then thumb gives the direction of positive current. So now in this example we are taking that like this clockwise sense. So then thumb is inwards here. So I1 and I3 are positive and I2 is negative. And we should not include that I4 in our calculation because it is outside that Amperian loop. You may solve the same problem by assuming that integration in anti-clockwise direction. Then according to your assumption, then I2 will be positive and I1 and I3 will be negative. Then you will get the final answer will be same only. So either you can assume, you can solve it in clockwise sense or you can solve it in anti-clockwise sense. That is purely your choice, right? And so now here next what I can write here is, so for this example now I am writing here. So then integral of B bar dot dl bar is equal to mu naught into, so for this example I am writing here I1 plus I2 I3 minus this I2. So this is our so this Ampere's law for this loop here. So for this case, so this will be the equation, the net current way of writing this net current for this example there. And here another thing what you need to consider here is, so sometimes to confuse you, they will give like current carrying conductors are not perpendicular to this plane here. Suppose if you are taking some Ampere loop like this, so one conductor may be given perpendicular or other some currents may be given making some angle theta with this. So this is some I1 and say this is some I2. So then some currents may be given like this, by which inclined at an angle theta with this plane. So this is our, that loop is Amperian loop there. So that means now here you can consider like net current is nothing but I1 plus I2 only, we need to consider that. So therefore it is integral of B bar dot dl bar is equal to mu naught into I1 plus I2, you may consider that. Means even when the conductors are inclined at some angle theta with this plane, then we need to take like same I1 plus I2 only. That means in this statement it is not mentioned that whether they are perpendicular to that plane or parallel to that loop. Once they are entering the loop or coming out of the loop, then we can use this net current conclusion there. So that even though it is inclined at some angle theta, still you can take that same as that of your this case here, perpendicular case. You can consider that there is no any difference between those two cases. And then another important points regarding this, you may mention like so mention some points here regarding this Ampere's loop here. So mention that Ampere's law plays the similar role as that of Gauss-Line electrostatics, Next, Ampere's law can be derived from Biot-Savart's law, and Biot-Savart's law can be derived from Ampere's law. Biot-Savart's law can be derived from Ampere's law. And next point, while applying Ampere's law, first we should assume a closed loop called Amperean loop, along which integration is to be carried out. The next point, the integration can be done either in clockwise direction or in anti-clockwise direction. Next, generally the point where the magnetic field is to be calculated should lie on the Amperean loop. That means so that we can find the magnetic field at that point there, right? And generally sometimes you may get a case like where the magnetic field is always parallel to that path. Then in that case what we can conclude is B into that circumference of that path, you can calculate it as integral of this B bar dot dl bar value. That means the left side of this Ampere's law, left side term of this Ampere's law. So sometimes you may get there it is perpendicular, then it will be 0. If B bar and dl bar are perpendicular, then it will be 0 there. So mention that. So in some cases the B bar and dl bar are always parallel to each other. In some cases B bar and dl bar are always parallel to each other. So that integral of B bar dot dl bar is equals to B into circumference, and that means in that case B is also constant in magnitude we are assuming there. Integral of B bar dot dl bar, that means B bar and dl bar are parallel, and you mention about that B is constant in magnitude. Then integral of B bar dot dl bar is equal to, so this is like in case of circular path, you can write this as this value, integral of B into the dl bar is equal to integral of B into 2 pi r. It need not be 2 pi r, you may mention it as a circumference. If it is like a rectangular loop, if you are assuming, then rectangular loop you may write if it is. So that means in general it will be a square circle we generally consider there. For a we will do some calculations or derivations, then in that you will get the clarity. If it is any other path, if it is not circle like any other path, just we need to write it as a circumference. So just mention that d into circumference. And mention that if B and DL bar, if B bar and DL bar are perpendicular for a part of the path or for all the path, if it is, that means some cases it may be perpendicular only for certain parts and some parts it may be parallel. So that means if it is perpendicular, then for those parts, then integral of B bar dot DL bar value will be 0, where they are perpendicular. If it is for entire path, if it is perpendicular, then you will get this value as 0. If only a certain part is perpendicular, then only for that part it will be 0. For another part it may be parallel or it may include, that means inclined at some angle, then it need not be 0. Only when these two are perpendicular, for that path of integration it will be 0, right? So that means then you can easily solve that such a type of problems there. And these are some points you need to remember regarding this while applying this Ampere's law here. And now let us see this some derivations based on this. First I am writing this magnetic field due to this hollow conductor. So let us write this as magnetic field due to hollow cylindrical pipe. Let us write here. Hollow conductor means generally we consider cylindrical conductors. Hollow cylindrical conductors. Like it is like a pipe you may consider here, if current is flowing along a pipe. So now these derivations are similar to that of in electrostatics. These are similar to that of our what we can say like spherical shell. This derivation is similar to that of spherical shell here. So that means here with the help of Ampere's law, actually we up to now we calculated magnetic field due to with the help of this Biot-Savart, so we calculated magnetic field outside the conductor, like at a distance r from this conductor. So now with the help of this Ampere's law, we can calculate the magnetic field inside the conductor also. How much magnetic field is there inside the conductor also you can calculate, as well as outside the conductor also you can calculate there with the help of this Ampere's law. So let us see this now. That means now here I am assuming like this is a conductor, hollow conductor I am assuming here. Very long conductor only, its length is large, very large when compared to that of our length. So that means this is the loop cylindrical pipe we are assuming here. So this R is the radius. So now we need to calculate this magnetic field at the point P due to this. So I is the current flowing along this pipe here. So this distance of this point P is say R from this, right? So just mention that. So that means now our point P, this point P is here. So at that point P may be there outside, may be there on the surface, may be there inside. Like our spherical shell or solid sphere cases, we get the three cases in that: outside, on the surface, and inside, right? So just mention that, write this information there. Consider a long cylindrical pipe of radius R. Consider a long thin cylindrical pipe. Consider a long thin cylindrical pipe of radius R carrying current I. Carrying current I. P is a point at a distance R from the axis of the cylindrical pipe. Axis of the cylindrical pipe. Now we are taking the case like outside and on the surface we are taking there. So first case I am taking like outside. So outside I am taking there, that outside is nothing but you can say like R is greater than this capital R. So outside the cylindrical pipe. So now we are going to apply this Ampere's law. So we already solved this case with the help of this Biot-Savart's law. Now I am going with the solving by using this Ampere's law here. So now to apply this Ampere's law, now we need to choose an Ampere and loop here. So Ampere and loop we need to take here. This is a Ampere and loop here, what we are taking here. This will be closed path actually. That means closed path. So we may represent with a continuous line. Simply here, this will be perpendicular to this conductor what I am taking here. I mean to say that one. So for that I am drawing like that. So that means if this is the conductor, then that loop will be lying in this plane here. Is it clear? If conductor is lying in this vertically, then our circle or the Ampere and loop will be lying in this horizontal plane. So that means perpendicular to that conductor. Generally, in case of like two or more conductors are there in the Ampere and loop, I said we choose a direction such that that currents or currents in the direction of the thumb are positive and opposite to the thumb are negative. But only when only one conductor is there, it is better to choose the direction of the integration such that that current direction will become a positive if only one conductor is there. Otherwise, you will get the confusion here. Like suppose this is the only conductor is there and this is the integration path along which we are integrating. Then for this current to be positive, then you should integrate it in clockwise sense. So that then current will automatically will become a positive value. So actually you can also choose in anti-clockwise direction, but if you are taking in anti-clockwise direction, then current will be negative. If you forget about taking the negative sign, then you will get the wrong answer, because generally when only one conductor is there, then we don't consider the sign there. So that indicates that we should choose the direction of integration such that that current will become, the direction of that current will become positive, right? So we should when only one conductor is there, just remember direction is chosen such that that current direction will become a positive value. And so now here as the current is flowing upwards, that means now we should choose the direction of integration like this, because the thumb is in upward direction there. So we should choose the direction of the current like this. And so now here the direction of the current is chosen like this. So that direction of integration, so that B bar is now along this direction here, dB bar. Along this direction means not in upward direction, it will be tangentially like horizontally inwards you will get here. So B bar will be like into the plane and DL bar is also into the plane here. So observe this integration we are taking like this, our circle is in horizontal plane. So here B bar will be there like this along this direction. And DL bar is also along the same direction there. DL bar is nothing but DL is the length of this small element, and that bar means its direction means we need to choose in the direction of integration there. So the in the direction of integration means we are integrating in this direction only. So we should take along this direction here. So that this integral of B bar dot DL bar, that means the angle between B bar and DL bar is 0. Is it clear now? So we are taking a circle here, we are taking a circle, this is a current carrying conductor vertically upwards, we are taking a circle here. So at this point the B bar will be along this direction, right? So the B bar is along horizontally along this direction you will get. And DL bar means there just to take a small element of that circle and then take an element along this direction there. That means both our B bar and DL bar will be in the same direction. If generally only one conductor is there, then most of the cases you will get such a situation only. So that means now here, so I can write this by Ampere's law. So by Ampere's law, integral of B bar dot DL bar is equal to mu naught times the net current enclosed there. So this is our statement of this Ampere's law. Now we are going to apply this. Integral of B into DL into cos 0 is equal to mu naught into I net is the total current itself is enclosed there. So that I am taking that I net value as that one. So then this is B into integral of DL is equal to mu naught into I. So therefore this integral of DL is nothing but, as I said, B into circumference you need to write there. So that circumference is nothing but that circumference of the circle in this case here, because we are taking this as an Ampere and loop as a circle here. So this is mu naught into I. Therefore, now this B is nothing but magnetic field outside. So the magnetic field outside is nothing but mu naught I by 2 pi r. So by using this Biot-Savart's law also, the magnetic field at a distance r from the long straight current carrying conductor, you will get the same expression. And even if it is hollow conductor, you will get the same expression there, because from outside you can't decide whether it is a hollow or uh, solid. Similar to that of our spherical shell in electrostatics. The electric field outside the spherical shell and outside the solid sphere both are same only, right? So that means now similarly here this magnetic field outside the current carrying conductor of both hollow and the solid is given by the same expression mu naught I by 2 pi r. So this is outside. Next, on the surface means simply what we can write here is on the surface. So on the surface means just what we can write here is small r is equal to capital R. You can write here the Ampere loop we need to take just outside the surface there. So that means what I can write here is directly I am taking that. So on the surface means small r is equal to capital R, you can consider. Therefore magnetic field on the surface is mu naught I by 2 pi r, you can write. So this is the magnetic field on the surface. Mu naught I by 2 by capital R, just you need to write. And next let us take inside. So inside that conductor, inside that hollow conductor, that is R is less than this. And so now here for this the Amperian loop we need to consider like this. So this is the axis of the cylinder, let us consider that. So now this is our point here. This is the point P where we need to consider, this is a smaller distance there. So now we need to take this Amperian loop there inside only. Right? And so that then this value will be, this is our point P here. Now this total current I is, now it is a hollow cylinder we are taking there. Hollow cylinder means, you know, current will be there passing through the walls of the cylinder only, right? And so that now again by using this Ampere's law, what we can write here is integral of B bar dot dl bar is equal to mu naught times that I net we can write here. So by Ampere's law, just same this equation I am writing here. And so now this value is nothing but what we can write here is integral of B bar dot dl bar is equal to, so this value is 0 we can write here, because first mention about that here no current is enclosed by this Amperian loop. Here net current enclosed by the Amperian loop is 0, because Amperian loop is here but the current is here. Current is passing only on the walls there. So that I net is 0 here. I net is 0 in the sense then integral of B bar dot dl bar value will be 0. So as the integral of dl bar value is not equal to 0 here, and so that what we can conclude there is the magnetic field inside is 0. Right? So that means now it is exactly similar to that of our spherical shell. For spherical shell also we will get such a conclusion only. Inside it is 0, outside field will be there, and on the surface maximum field will be there. So that means this is the case of a hollow cylinder here. Outside this is the field, and on the surface means just 2 pi capital R we need to write, and inside it is 0. And we can represent that magnetic field due to hollow sphere variation like this. And after that draw this graph also there. So B bar and this is or if you consider the magnetic field and the versus the distance. So until this small r is equal to capital R, there is no field. That means if you are moving from here to here, there is no field. And so then outside the field from on the surface to the outside, the field will be decreasing like this, inversely proportional to R you will get. So rectangular hyperbola you will get there, right? So that is the magnetic field calculation here, the magnetic field variation there. And so sometimes they will ask whether it is a continuous or discontinuous. It's a discontinuous here. From 0 to R there is no graph here. There is no magnetic field. From R to up to infinity you will get this magnetic field there, right? So once if you are calculating this hollow, then you can calculate the solid conductor also, solid cylindrical conductor also. So now let us see this derivation there for solid cylindrical conductor. So this is due to. So now a magnetic field due to solid cylindrical conductor. So magnetic field due to solid cylindrical conductor. Now solid cylindrical conductor means this will be total material will be there, and this current I is distributed uniformly over the cross section there. So just to mention that, consider a long solid cylindrical conductor, of radius R, radius capital R. I is the current distributed uniformly over its cross section. I is the current distributed uniformly over its cross section. P is a point at a distance R from the axis. P is a point at a distance R from the axis of the cylinder. The magnetic field at point P can be calculated as follows. The magnetic field at point P can be calculated as follows. So that means outside, if you are taking an outside, then its situation will be same as I said. For outside, for external point, just by seeing standing outside, you can't easily say, just by seeing you can't conclude that whether the conductor is a solid conductor or hollow conductor. And so that even if you are taking a general derivation process, same, we need to take an Amperian loop like this. So then B bar and DL bar will be same. Generally when you are taking the circle around a single conductor, this angle you will get, that means B bar and DL bar value 0 we will get. That means I said direction of integration we choose like that. And so that this value is B into DL, and the I enclosed is, the total current is enclosed by this Amperian loop here. So that this I net we are writing it as I, and integral of DL bar is, DL is nothing but 2 pi r here. So 2 pi r, B into 2 pi r is equal to mu naught I, and from this B outside. The magnetic field is outside is nothing but mu naught I by 2 pi r you can write. And just when you are writing on the surface, this case is also same. And so on the surface means just small r is equal to capital R, you need to substitute there, right? So mu naught I by 2 pi r you need to write. So these two cases are same for hollow and solid conductor. Now this case only will differs there. So that means now here the net current again same we consider here, but here the net current enclosed by this Amperian loop is not equal to 0, right? So the net current is not equal to 0. So we need to choose, we need to calculate that current here. So I said this current is, we are assuming that the current is distributing uniformly over its cross section. So that means we are taking that current density is constant there. So let us write this current density is constant here. So I am writing this current density. So current density J is equal to I by pi r square. So suppose here this current enclosed is some I in I am taking here. Current only enclosed by this Amperian loop in this case. So that I can write this as I in by pi into small r square. This is a small r radius we are taking. We are assuming that current density is same. It need not be same in all cases. That means there are certain situations where the current density is variable also. Then you need to calculate in another way that we will discuss in numericals. So in standard case, we are assuming that current density is same here. So that we can take like this. And so from this I can calculate this I in value here. So current enclosed is nothing but, so current enclosed is I into small r square by capital R square you can write. Therefore you can use this Ampere's law here. Integral of B bar dot DL bar is equal to, or B into DL into cos 0 I am writing here. This is equal to mu naught into I in, and therefore this is B into 2 pi r is equal to mu naught into I into small r square by capital R square you can write. So therefore this B inside is equal to mu naught I by 2 pi r square capital R square into small r you can write here. So this is the case here. So the magnetic field inside conductor is not zero in case of a solid conductor. So this is the new expression till now we are getting here. In Biot-Savart's law, only we can calculate outside, so which is nothing but mu naught I by 2 pi r. This case we already know. But the inside is this expression, and it's a new expression in this topic now. Till now we didn't discuss about magnetic field inside. So if a distance r by 2 if they ask, then small r is equal to r by 2, you can substitute there just. So that means now this is the magnetic field inside this conductor, and actually there I can mention about a point like, so now inside means now it is directly proportional to r. So continuation I am writing here. So the magnetic field inside directly proportional to r here, and so at center small r is equal to 0, and therefore the magnetic field at the center is equal to 0. So the magnetic field at the center in the sense axis. So magnetic field on the axis of the cylindrical pipe will be 0. Once you are moving from axis to the surface, the magnetic field goes on increasing, and then it becomes maximum again on the surface there, and outside the surface it goes on decreasing, inversely proportional to r. And so that graphically what we can represent there is, so outside and on the surface this part of the graph will remain same as that of our hollow conductor, but now additionally inside also we are getting this magnetic field here. So that inside magnetic field you can observe that it is directly proportional to r we are getting here. So the magnetic field inside is directly proportional to r. Directly proportional to r means you will get a straight line passing through this origin, right? So that this will be b is directly proportional to r here, and outside b is inversely proportional to r. So this is the graph for this solid cylindrical conductor. And so now for the solid cylindrical conductor you can conclude that this magnetic field variation is a continuous variation, whereas for the hollow conductor I said it's a discontinuous, so but it is a continuous variation will be there. And so in this expression is important here. You can also express that expression in terms of current density there. So let us write in terms of current density, which will be useful in some cases there. So I will write here B inside. So in terms of current density, J. So in terms of current density means there you can observe that directly this B inside is equal to mu naught by 2 into this I by pi r square, you can take it as current density here, into smaller, right? So that means already this is there here, I by pi r square. So that I can write in terms of this current density here. So this is mu naught into J by 2 into R. This is a magnitude form, and actually you can also express it in vector form here. If you are expressing it in vector form, then simply that R bar cross J bar should give us magnetic field here. For example, in this case, if this point we are taking here, now current is along this direction, or current density will also be in the same direction. So that we can, what we can write is the magnetic field, if current is flowing here, magnetic field will be along this direction. That means this point I am taking here, this is the I bar, or that means current direction, which is the J bar direction, and this is the R bar direction. So the magnetic field will be here along this direction. Generally, if current is flowing upwards, the magnetic field will be along tangentially like this, right? And so now here the J bar cross R bar, the J bar cross R bar will give the magnetic field direction here. So that you can express this magnetic field, this expression in vector format, which is very useful, especially when you are discussing the cavity problems. So the magnetic field, this expression you can write this as B bar is equal to, or B inside is equal to mu naught by 2 into J bar cross R bar, you can write. So that gives both magnitude and direction here. So J bar cross R bar means its magnitude is nothing but J into R into sine 90, because J is like this and R is like this. The angle between them 90 degrees. So then J into R into sine 90, sine 90 is 1, which is nothing but this. And now J bar cross R bar will give the direction of this magnetic field here. J bar is along this direction. First we are placing our 4 fingers like this. Then J bar cross R bar will give the direction of this magnetic field here. So remember this expression also, magnetic field in terms of the current density vector. so that in some derivations like cavity problems especially, we will use this form here. If you are using this form in case of cavity problems, you can solve it very easily in cavity problems. So I will explain those cavity problems, and then as I said, variation of current density. If current density is variable, how to solve, I will explain those type of problems in our next class. This is the case of current densities when current density is constant. So this is a these two cases are this case is similar to that of non-uniform charge distribution, spherical charge distribution in electrostatics, when charge is distributed throughout the volume also. This case is similar to that, and you can observe that graphs also similar, not exactly same, but the similar because not exactly same in the sense outside it is inversely proportional to R square in case of electric field, but here we are getting it as simply inversely proportional to R only. So the shape will be appears to be similar but not exactly same. And so then similarly our previous hollow conductor is same as that of a spherical shell, right? So if you remember those comparisons, you can solve them, you can remember them easily. Those cases you can remember that easily, right? So then I will discuss the remaining case in our next class, right? Thank you.